Today we're doing the third set of notes talking about compounding interest. So the formula is given at the top of your paper. I will always give you this formula. It is your job to remember what the letters mean and how to plug the numbers into the formula. So I of t is always going to be your ending value. P is your principal, which means your starting value. Sometimes you'll see the phrase initial value. Initial investment, they all mean the same thing. R is going to be your rate, and you need to write the percentage as a decimal. That will be your job. T is time, and N is the number of times interest is compounded. We're running out of room. So below that, you're going to see a table, and it says how often does interest occur. So some vocabulary you'll see, sometimes it'll say compounded annually or quarterly. If it's compounded annually, that's one time. Semi-annually is twice. Quarterly would be 4. Monthly would be 12. And I'm just going to add one more down here. If it's compounded daily, that would be 365. So for any of you who have savings accounts, most of your savings accounts you get interest monthly. That means every month you'll get something, probably just a few cents, but it's better than nothing, of interest. And that's basically saying you're giving your money to the bank, you're lending it to them to hold on to, so they'll give you some interest as an incentive. So for our first example, it says you invest $1,000 in a savings account at the end of 6th grade. The account pays 5% annual interest. How much money will be in the account after 6 years? So A of t is what we do not know. We're trying to figure out how much money we will have. My principal or my starting value is 1,000. Then the formula says 1 plus your R value, which is 0.05. Okay, so that's my interest rate of 5%. I converted it to a decimal by moving the decimal 2 spots to the left. It says annual, where am I looking? Annual interest, so that means your end value is 1, and it'll be raised to the 1 times 6. So all I did was take those values and plugged it into the formula in the correct spots. If you did this correctly, if you type it in, you get $1,340.10. Again, I recommend you use the Desmos calculator to type this in. I will provide the link within this assignment. It's really important that you are typing it in correctly in addition to setting it up correctly. So the next page, it says, suppose your parents invest $1,000 in a savings account that earns 5% interest. How much would be in the account after 18 years? So your P, your R, and your T will remain the same for all of these problems. Here, annually means N equals 1. For B, N is 2. For quarterly, N is 4. Monthly is 12, and daily is 365. So let's go ahead and set these up. For the first one, we're going to say our starting value, which is 1,000. 1 plus my R value over my N value raised to my N times my years. When you type this in, you should get $2,406.62. For letter B, we're going to start off the same. The only thing that will change is where I have the 1 in the annual spot, I'm changing it to a 2. Make sure you change the 2 in 2 spots. The formula has N in 2 spots, therefore it must change in 2 spots. When you do this, you will get $2,432.54. Quarterly, I have 1,000, 1 plus again, change the 2 to 4 now. Make sure you change it in both spots. When you type that in, you'll get $2,445.92. I'm going to pause the video. Go ahead and try D and E, setting them up, that is, and then hit resume once you have them set up. So again, if you pause the video, and I'm assuming you've now tried D and E and you hit resume, just things to pay attention for, make sure you put 12 in the both spots. Make sure you put 365 in the 2 spots. If you are not getting these answers when you type them in the calculator, please reach out to me so that way we can arrange a meet so we can talk about what you are typing incorrectly in the calculator, because it's important that you are able to correctly type this in. So the last type of formula we're going to talk about is compounded continuously. So sometimes the wording in these problems will change from the interest is compounded continuously. And a lot of times students will say, well, what number do I use for continuously? Continuously means literally every second of every day. Well, I can't plug infinity into my calculator, so we introduced this new formula. A lot of times students will call this formula PERT, P-E raised to the R-T. E is a button on your calculator. It stands for 2.71 something, something, something. So just like pi is an irrational number, E is an irrational number. E, you will never estimate it. You will always use the exact button on the calculator. So it says, suppose you invest $1,050 in an annual interest rate of 5.5% compounded continuously. There's that vocabulary word. How much money will you have in the account after 5 years? So my equation is my starting value, which is 1,050. E is part of the formula. Then it's raised to the 0.055 times 5. E, if you are using a TI calculator, you will have to hit second, and then it's the LN button. If you are using Desmos, you'll have to just change it to the function button, and you should see the button that says E. When you type this in, let me turn my page, you should get $1,382.36. So go ahead and try that last practice problem, and that will wrap us up for today.